Yes, the Edinburgh Festival returns. Apparently it was so well behaved last year, they've asked it back. This international arts jamboree gets the best artists from all four corners of the globe. Amongst the endless number of shows in countless makeshift venues, there lies a single, vital constant. A reliable, homegrown gem. The Travers Theatre. It's a well-known fact that if you're either too skint or too busy to get more than one ticket to the Edinburgh Festival, you cut to the chase and come here, Scotland's much-loved and internationally acclaimed new writing theatre. The Travers was born in the 60s to a group of friends frustrated by the dearth of creative nightlife in the city. Those Beat Generation founders are now octogenarians.
It was a huge endeavour by a group of human beings who shared the same thoughts and ideals and hopes.
And their brainchild has reached middle age and joined the establishment.
It's the water in which you swim if you're a Scottish writer.
It's a very, very important jumping off point for talent.
It's not only Scottish in its heart and soul, it's UK-wide and it's worldwide.
If the Travers is in good shape, then everybody's in good shape.
And this year, the home of quality contemporary theatre is celebrating its half-century. Happy birthday, Travers. The Travers Theatre was born in 1963 and very quickly gained international recognition. Since its opening night in a dilapidated former brothel on Edinburgh's Royal Mile, Scotland's home of new playwriting has grown to become a crucial part of the British theatre scene.
And you will listen. You have to listen. I will not stop until you hear me.
The thing I've got to tell you is I am full of potential.
Orla O'Loughlin was appointed the Travers' 14th artistic director last year. Orla is currently rehearsing with actor Blythe Duff for this year's festival's top-billing and world premiere one-woman show Kira by David Harrower.
This is it. My next venture. My first professional job was with the Travers Theatre in 1983, and this is my 30th year in the business, and it's the Travers 50th, so it feels like as if we're kind of in tandem.
Set in Glasgow, Kira is the daughter of a gangster trying to go straight.
The sky is striped with streams of ribbons arcing over the city below, the university spire, the green hills beyond, like some kind of apocalypse.
Orla's first big commission for the theatre is this year's raucous option, I'm With the Band, a play which, on the face of it, is about the breakup of a rock band. Today, the entire Travers company has assembled to hear the play's first read-through.
This is a new script that was redrafted at half-time this morning. No, that's really good.
Written by Welsh playwright Tim Price and directed by the Travers' associate director Hamish Pirrie, the cast is made up of a Scotsman, Englishman, Welshman and Northern Irishman, and tackles the pressing political issue of Scotland's possible independence.
Just what I was going to say is,
there's no song they can sing, and there's no band they can join.
At the moment it exists on paper, and the job of the next 4 or 5 weeks is to put it into 3 dimensions and make it sing.
You're just getting the vibe, you're not into it, and you're the first person I've played it to.
I think it's absolutely kind of getting to the heart of what we're interested in, which is theatre of the moment. This is absolutely prescient in terms of where we are politically.
Now you have a real reason to feel so bloody resentful, but we sort of need you to get over it and get to work.
Today, the Travers is part of Edinburgh's thriving artistic scene. But when the theatre was first dreamt up, Scotland's capital was a very different place. It began life in an age of austerity, when Edinburgh was a cultural centre for just 3 weeks of the year. Quite much of the rest of Britain, Edinburgh in the 1950s was a rather grey and staid place. Many of its population was still blighted by the after effects of the Second World War. But in 1947, the festival was instigated. with the ambition of lifting and nurturing the human spirit. Rather lofty ambition indeed. But for a small group of Edinburghers, well, just having their spirits lifted and nurtured for 3 weeks simply wasn't enough.
When the festival ended, on the last day, you had a feeling of the circus leaving town.
Richard DeMarco was a young Edinburgh art teacher with a vision.
I remember thinking, we've got to find a way in which the festival spirit is rooted in Edinburgh.
Enter stage left Jim Haynes. A handsome American Air Forceman, Haynes arrived in Edinburgh to carry out his national service in 1956.
After 3 weeks, Edinburgh suddenly became empty again. Empty of people, empty of fun, empty of ideas, and we wanted it to last all year round.
I remember Jim first appeared as a reality in my life. He was driving a little Beetle, and I'll never forget the sound of his American voice. Hey.
Can I give you a lift, young man?
Oh my God.
DeMarco and Haynes' first meeting took place here on the Royal Mile 56 years ago.
You were with 2 lovely ladies.
That's right.
And I had none.
I know.
So I said, I'll give you folks a lift, and we'll go to the Lake Coffee House and start a 50-year friendship.
I didn't expect this. I'm meeting Jim again.
Come on! That chance encounter on the Royal Mile all those years ago changed the course of theatrical history.
Is this the exact spot where the Travis was founded?
Yeah.
And it was founded by a man curb crawling you, Richard, basically. He was soliciting for your artistic favours.
Desperate for a creative space in which to meet, Haynes sold his beloved Volkswagen and set up a bookshop, The Paperback, where the friends also staged theatrical productions between the stacks. But they soon outgrew the space, and with their creative friends Terry Lane, John Malcolm and Tom Mitchell, found a place where they could set up a proper theatre with real seats.
We've offered luxury seating for 59 human beings, so we could be assured of a full house practically every single day.
Rings a few bells.
I've brought these 2 impresarios back to James Court on Edinburgh's Lawn Market, the very site of the first ever Traverse Theatre.
Oh my goodness me. Oh,
It's your theatre, and you go.
it should be called Jim's Court. This is where all the most famous people in the world of theatre found themselves walking in search of the spirit of the avant-garde.
On a freezing cold night on the 2nd of January 1963, the first ever Traverse audience was invited to climb the stairs to Edinburgh's brand new theatre venue.
And think, on these stones, you have the footsteps still ringing of Ken Tynan and the world's greatest playwrights, Edward Albee.
Oh no!
Oh yes, you have Henry Miller.
This is it, Ricky.
My God, we're standing on historic Edinburgh. These floorboards were carrying the weight of all these superstars. And within a few months of the opening, in the audience, I could see, oh my God, J.B. Priestley, Lillian Hellman, Edward Albee, Harold Clurman, Howard Thompson, the whole of the international world
Drama
of...
Festival.
British theatre in the early 1960s was still subject to government censorship, but the clever young founders of the Traverse were determined to avoid submitting their scripts to the authorities.
We were a theatre club and we had no censorship.
Oh, because you're a private club?
We're a private club. Also, the licensing laws didn't apply to us. You could drink here on Sunday. You could have a meal and have a glass of wine.
And you could put on a show that otherwise would have perhaps been subject...
It would have been something, it couldn't have been done.
Because I think the only people in Edinburgh who were not pervaded by the eternal spirit of John Knox are young.
Setting up as a club was the masterstroke which allowed the Traverse to avoid the censorship of the day. Late-night drinking attracted the crowds, but it was an on-stage scandal in the opening season during a production of Sartre's Huis Clos that led to their first big headlines.
One of the actresses had to use a knife. It was a real knife. I think it was a kitchen knife. And she had to stab the other actress. My goodness me, I could see that it had pierced her body.
Actor Rosamund Dixon had managed to accidentally stick the knife a full 2 inches into her co-star Colette O'Neill.
The idea was that when I was hit with the knife, it should be slid down. But because it was so cold and she tensed up, she in fact hit me in the stomach.
In spite of being seriously injured, Colette O'Neill played the final minutes of the show.
I was sitting in the front row with a friend of mine who happened to be a medical student. He knew at once that she was in danger of losing her life.
Colette was lucky. The knife had missed her vital organs. Word of the stabbing spread throughout the city, and the publicity did the theatre no harm whatsoever.
That guaranteed a full house for the rest of the run.
I remember at the time there were rumours going around that it had all been a publicity stunt, but I mean I've got the 8 stitches down the middle to prove it wasn't.
The Traverse had made its name, and its increased profile attracted the attention of some big names in the theatre world.
Where's Harold Pinter? Where's Saul Bellow?
We're standing probably on the control box, the lighting box right now.
Okay, so the stage is just a little bit over here.
It's in this room here.
Take us onto the stage.
Oh my God! The stage is here, Jim.
Yeah.
The auditorium was tiny, measuring just 15 feet wide. It was the unique style of the stage, traversing between the seating banks on either side, that gave the theatre its name.
Jim, this is the stage.
This is the
This
stage.
bedroom. Of course, this wall wasn't here,
No.
and I am amazed that it's now a bedroom.
Yeah.
Heavens above! But the window's still there. We blocked that out. We are actually in the space that created the energy for 50 years of the Traverse name being something to be reckoned with.
Richard DeMarco, Jim Haynes and their fellow founders may have set the Traverse up to improve Edinburgh's nightlife, but in doing so, they established an important part of Edinburgh's artistic scene.
I think it's a glorious record that this apparently very conservative city has produced perhaps the best avant-garde theatre in Britain.
The Traverse was a popular night spot, but it was the poetry readings and radical productions on the stage that kept the loyal audience coming back. When Max Stafford Clark joined the theatre as artistic director in 1967, he was in tune with the most experimental theatre of the day.
I was very influenced by the freewheeling American experimental companies, the La Mama, the Living Theatre and the Open Theatre.
Inspired by the radical off-Broadway movement happening in New York at the time, Stafford Clark exposed Edinburgh audiences to some positively obscure work.
Balls. There was a play called Balls by Paul Foster, which had as its principal characters 2 ping pong balls swinging to and fro. A couple had an orgasm off stage. I think it was very Beckett influenced without approaching the austerity of Beckett. I mean, many of the lessons I learned at the Traverse about research and experiment I carry with me still. So I am enormously grateful to the citizens of Edinburgh for their tolerance in allowing me to experiment and to find my way at that time.
The theatre would soon outgrow its tiny rooms on the Royal Mile, and in 1969 it was time to move to a new home, an old sailmaker's loft on the Grassmarket.
The move from James Court to the Grassmarket was enormously ambitious, and the Traverse expanded from 65 seats to 120 in one move.
The Traverse's reputation had travelled with it, and the Grassmarket Theatre was a big success in those early years. But by the early 70s, the theatre's repertoire was in need of change. Until now, it had relied almost exclusively on English and European plays, but this led to disapproval from writers living in Scotland, who were keen to see their own work on the stage.
Scotland in the 1970s was, as it is now, a hotbed of political debate. The SNP were on the rise, and a referendum on independence was just around the corner. It's been a very long corner. So, in 1975, when a new artistic director was appointed, things were ripe for change.
Chris Parr took over at the Traverse in 1975 and changed the theatre's output completely. He had decided to commission new work from local writers. His vision was the beginning of the new writing ethos that remains at the theatre to this day.
He changed the whole policy of the Traverse to put on plays by playwrights living in Scotland or Scottish playwrights, and that made all the difference.
There's many a man's mouth broke his nose.
See, that's really cool, that. Is it? That's really cool, that. What a lot of shite. He was commissioning plays from Donald Campbell, from Billy Connolly, from Marcella Evaristi, you know, a really strong generation of Scottish playwrights.
Slap out! Yes, sir! Right here, sir! Enjoy yourself, and mind you don't fall in.
It was a creative proposal, and I was lucky enough to find that there were a number of playwrights who were just emerging then.
You think you're going to break me, don't you? You could say you're not exactly my most favourite person.
No, it was quite controversial for some people, but it happened to be the way that the energy was going at that time.
And keep down the smoking sauce migraine, okay?
One of the most distinctive voices to emerge from the time was writer and artist John Byrne, whose play The Slab Boys premiered at the Traverse in 1978.
I can remember sitting in that Traverse Theatre in the Grassmarket, gasping at the sort of creativity of it. It was really one of the greatest theatrical moments, you know, of all the years that I've been reviewing.
You throwing your voice, Phil? It's not me, Spence. Seems to be coming for the ceiling.
It just absolutely blew me away. I remember thinking, are you allowed to do that? Are you really allowed to be as local as he was, because he was completely local?
Don't you wish you was a slab boy? I do. I'm not talking to you.
My object in writing The Slab Boys was to have them laughing and crying at the same time, and come out at the end and say, oh God, I shouldn't have been laughing at that at all. But they did.
Building on Chris Parr's legacy, the early 80s saw a huge increase of new playwriting in Scotland.
The extraordinary profusion of work from Liz Lochhead and Ian Heggie and Chris Hannon and Joe Clifford and many others, Peter Arnott, work which suddenly made the thought of being a Scottish playwright possible.
Creatively, the Traverse was flourishing. New Scottish playwrights were emerging, and with them a new generation of talented young actors. But the political climate for theatre makers was about to get very bleak. When Jenny Killick was appointed artistic director in 1985, the first time a woman had taken up the role, things were looking black for the theatre.
Literally, in the first week I was in the job, the Arts Council in Scotland made it very clear to me that they thought the Traverse had its day and was no longer going to be part of the landscape of Scottish theatre. So I thought, oh, maybe that's why they gave me the job.
Thanks mostly to another First Lady, the 80s were a very difficult time for the theatre. Margaret Thatcher's swingeing cuts to public funding had a devastating effect on the arts, and Killick had to fight to keep the doors of the theatre open.
The arts were under attack, not just in funding terms, but in terms of where they were going to sit in our civic life. So the idea of the imagination, of creativity, were they going to be part of our future?
Killick succeeded in negotiating the political territory, and the Traverse survived. She did so in part by making one significant change. It was time for the little amateur theatre to go professional.
There was really definitely a sense that the theatre as a membership club those days had to close. I knew that I had to professionalise the situation, otherwise the Arts Council would withdraw funding and the struggle would be even harder in terms of generating new work.
The Traverse had come of age, supported by a loyal following. But the ambitious company had once again outgrown its premises. The difficult decision was made to move on from the makeshift loft on the Grassmarket. Ian Brown would be the director to preside over the emotional move to a new purpose-built theatre on Cambridge Street.
It's right that an institution changes and develops. This is just a staging post for us, and who knows, in 150 years when the lease is up in the Cambridge Street Theatre, perhaps there'll be another bigger theatre, who knows.
The Traverse left its beloved sailmaker's loft in Grassmarket and moved here to this site 60 foot underground in July 1992. Glitzy and thoroughly modern in its day, this was Britain's first purpose-built theatre devoted solely to new writing. The Traverse's current home on Cambridge Street is now 21 years old. It has seen many changes over the years, but new writing remains its guiding principle. During the Edinburgh Festival, it continues to be the best place to see quality contemporary theatre. The festival is hugely important for the Traverse. The box office sells tens of thousands of tickets and staff and performer numbers quadruple. The show is running from 9 o'clock in the morning till midnight. The theatre gets 20% of its annual revenue in just 3 weeks. As usual, this year's festival is playing to packed houses, and the programme includes numerous world premieres. One such is acclaimed playwright David Gregg's latest offering, The Events, a daring piece of work which addresses questions surrounding forgiveness in the face of atrocity.
If he was mad, then it wasn't his fault, was it?
Whose fault was it?
Nature's like cancer. Anyone can get cancer.
And if he's sane?
Then he must be evil.
We would probably prefer to say empathy impaired.
The production, which features a different community choir every evening, deals with the aftermath of a mass shooting event.
The Events is a very good show to do at the festival for me at the Traverse because, first of all, it really is a formally very risky piece. The one time of year where I think the audience are hungry for thought, they're hungry for politics, they're hungry for ideas, and they're prepared to, put a bit of mental and emotional effort into their theatre.
Traverse Company commission I'm With the Band is a classic festival piece. Tim Price's combination of music and politics has entertained and divided audiences in equal measure.
There's a lot of eyes on Scotland, and obviously cultural voices have led us politically, I would like to think, to where we are now.
I'm trying to save the band! I'm trying to save the band with a new sound!
But the headline act of this year's festival is David Harrower's new work, Ciara, directed by Orla O'Loughlin and starring Blythe Duff.
You can see the university spire and the green hills beyond, like some kind of apocalypse.
I met Blythe in a Traverse bar after an early morning performance of the show.
I absolutely loved it. It's a fantastic marriage of brilliant performance and brilliant writing, and it just was seamless and captivating.
Thank you very much. That's lovely.
And I don't say that to everyone.
I think your audience are the character. Yeah. So until you know what that character is going to do and say, you don't really know how the piece is going to go. These stabbers, parers, cleavers, choppers, grinders, carvers. It's set in Glasgow and with the same energy and vibrancy that Glasgow has and the age that it has. But it's otherworldly as well, and I think David was very keen to make sure that was explored. Dad pointing out our territory, our warehouse, our turf, the world Cain would inherit. Don't look, Kira, this is a bad place. Don't want me looking.
It's a very special place for you, isn't it, the Traverse?
I've had such a kind of long history with the Traverse, and it was my first job. Also because I've been so close to new writing, and I love writers, and I love seeing their craft, and so I think the Traverse is just second to none for that.
Listen, I'm a grown woman. I don't work for no one yet. I am on my own, you get me?
And there's a window. I think there's a window there, so you can keep the window. If she's all up, there is a window to be looking out of, I think.
For artistic director Orla O'Loughlin, the future of the Traverse is rooted in the theatre's relationship with writers.
For me, the writers are the people who are documenting our times. Above anything, I want to find the next generation of Scottish playwriting talent, as well as keeping, the masters who I'm lucky enough to work alongside.
Gee, but they cap your weights up and there's a plan for the plan on our laps and you'll never see any work.
In spite of the festival being in full swing, Orla has just begun rehearsing for 2 new shows, which will open in the final week of the Fringe.
Anything in you coming and sitting down? The safest thing for the Traverse to do at the moment is take a risk, because we're in a position that we can do it and people expect it and there's an appetite for it.
What do you think? Yeah, that'll work.
And something that we're really keen to continue with, hugely risky, is say, that's your slot, we like your idea, write your play, we'll put it on, and then keep everything crossed.
Today she's rehearsing playwright Sabrina Mafusa's piece, Clean.
I'm 29 years old, thank you very much. I'm very much of the time.
One of the things I'm really keen on is getting more female voices on our stage and getting more female stories on our stage that are not the stories that we're used to hearing.
Like every artistic director before her, Orla wants to bring change to the Traverse. Perhaps most significantly, she feels that the company has once again outgrown its home, and that the time has come for another move.
I absolutely think it's time. Quite how that is made manifest, there are a number of possibilities being explored, but certainly the future is going to be about regeneration and change and the place reimagining itself.
It's like, how has something as unlikely as what was started back in the day by Jim and Ricky, how has that survived 50 years?
Turning your maverick fringe theatres into institutions is how the theatre moves forward.
50 years is a phenomenal point for any institution to arrive at. It's had a lot of rough times in the past, but certainly in recent years, it really feels that the Traverse is getting the recognition that it deserves.
You'd expect it to kind of achieve a mature middle age, but it's not like that at all. It still feels like the place you need to be, particularly when the festival comes around, but actually all year round in Scotland.
I think it's been absolutely critical. I think it's been, without it, there just wouldn't be the Scottish repertoire that there is today.
All kinds of things become possible as a result of that institution and its decision to do new writing from Scotland.
We're celebrating this anniversary in the way we know best, which is by programming the best work we can find. And it does feel, in terms of the reaction this programme has got this year, that people are genuinely excited about it.
Without the Traverse, it's difficult to imagine the Edinburgh theatre scene.
I have faith in the Scottish people, in the people who made the Traverse Theatre alive, In fact, I wonder if the Traverse could have existed in any other city in this country apart from Edinburgh.
Thanks for coming.
I would just like to raise a toast to the Traverse and to the next 50 years.